What protections do I have if I'm a seasonal worker? Every year, millions of Americans take seasonal jobs, whether it's retail clerks during the holiday rush, lifeguards in the summer, farm workers during harvest, or warehouse packers when online shopping peaks. Seasonal jobs can be great for quick income, a foot in the door, or filling financial gaps, but they raise an important question. What legal protections do seasonal workers actually have? Some people assume seasonal work means no rights, but that's not the case. Seasonal employees still have many of the same protections as year-round workers, especially when it comes to wages, safety, and discrimination. At the same time, there are differences when it comes to benefits, unemployment, and long-term stability. In this video, we'll break it down step by step. We'll explain what the law says about wages and hours, how safety and discrimination protections apply, what happens with health insurance and leave, and how seasonal workers can still stand up for their rights. O.S.H.A. and workplace safety. Seasonal jobs are often physically demanding, harvesting crops, moving boxes, or working in heat. The Occupational Safety and Health Act, O.S.H.A., requires safe working conditions for all employees, including seasonal hires. Employers must train seasonal workers on equipment use, provide protective gear for hazardous tasks, protect against heat illness and cold stress, depending on season, maintain injury and illness logs. Example, a farm hires migrant seasonal workers to harvest produce. If they're exposed to pesticides without protective clothing, O.S.H.A. can step in. Retaliating against a seasonal worker for reporting unsafe practices is illegal. Another example, a ski resort employs seasonal staff for lift operations. Workers must receive safety training on mechanical systems and cold weather gear. Seasonal does not excuse safety negligence. Anti-discrimination protections apply from day one. Whether you're hired for 2 weeks or 2 decades, discrimination laws apply immediately. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act prohibits discrimination based on race, sex, religion, or national origin. Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, requires accommodations for workers with disabilities. Age Discrimination in Employment Act, ADEA, protects workers age 40 and up. Pregnancy Discrimination Act applies even for short-term hires. Example, a retail store hires seasonal staff for the holidays. Management reduces the hours of female employees, but not males. That may violate Title VII. Example 2. A theme park refuses to hire older applicants for summer jobs, favoring only college students. That could raise an ADEA issue. So, probationary or seasonal status does not limit anti-discrimination protections. Benefits and eligibility rules. Here's where seasonal work differs most from permanent employment. Health insurance. Affordable Care Act, ACA. Large employers must provide health insurance to employees working 30-plus hours a week. However, if the worker is classified as seasonal and works fewer than 120 days, employers may not be required to count them toward the coverage mandate. Family and Medical Leave Act, F.L.S.A. To qualify, you must have worked 12 months and at least 1,250 hours. Seasonal workers rarely qualify. Retirement plans. Employers can require a minimum service period, meaning seasonal hires often don't become eligible for 401k contributions. Sick leave. Some states, like California and New York, require sick leave accrual even for seasonal workers, though the total may be small. Example, a summer lifeguard works 35 hours a week for 3 months. They may not qualify for employer health insurance, but if California law applies, they still accrue a small number of paid sick days. Unemployment insurance. One of the most confusing issues for seasonal workers is unemployment eligibility. In many states, seasonal workers qualify for unemployment once the job ends, provided they earned enough wages during the base period. Some states restrict benefits if the work was in industries legally defined as seasonal, like agriculture or tourism. Even if eligible, the benefit amount may be small because seasonal jobs often involve fewer weeks of earnings. Example: a holiday retail worker in Illinois who earns $5,000 during November and December may qualify for partial unemployment in January. By contrast, a farm worker in Texas may not qualify if state law excludes agricultural seasonal jobs. Union rights and the NLRA. The National Labor Relations Act, NLRA, protects all employees, including seasonal hires, who want to organize, discuss wages, or join unions. Employers cannot fire or retaliate against seasonal workers for union activity. In unionized workplaces, seasonal workers may fall under collective bargaining agreements. Some contracts give seasonal employees grievance rights, though benefits may still be limited. Example: seasonal warehouse workers join full-time staff in forming a union campaign. Management cannot legally single them out for termination. Contracts, handbooks, and promises. Seasonal jobs sometimes involve written contracts, especially in agriculture, resorts, or festivals. Contracts. If a contract promises employment for 12 weeks at a fixed wage, the employer cannot cut it short without cause. Handbooks. If policies promise equal treatment, seasonal workers can hold employers accountable. Example: a pumpkin patch hires workers under a 6-week contract at $15 per hour. After 3 weeks, management cuts hours in half without explanation. The workers may have a claim for breach of contract. When duties change. Employers often assign seasonal workers to multiple roles. That's usually legal under at-will employment, but workers cannot be reassigned in ways that break wage or safety laws. Example: a cashier at a Christmas market is reassigned to unload heavy shipments. The employer must provide training, follow O.S.H.A. standards, and pay overtime if hours exceed 40. Example 2. If reassignment targets only women or older workers with physically demanding tasks, it could raise Title VII or ADEA concerns. Real-world cases. Case 1. Seasonal retail workers in California sued after being misclassified as supervisors to deny overtime. They won back pay under the F.L.S.A. Case 2. Farm workers exposed to pesticides without protection were awarded damages after O.S.H.A. violations were found. Case 3. A ski resort refused to rehire older workers for winter roles, citing youth energy. The workers filed under the ADEA and prevailed. Case 4. Seasonal hotel workers joined a union and secured rights to seniority-based rehiring for the next season. These examples prove seasonal work is not lawless. Legal protections apply, and courts enforce them. The bigger picture. Seasonal work is essential to the U.S. economy, filling labor gaps in retail, agriculture, tourism, and logistics. Workers deserve fair treatment regardless of job length. The law provides strong baseline protections: fair pay, safe workplaces, and freedom from discrimination. Where protections fall short is in benefits eligibility, long-term stability, and unemployment access. That's why workers should know both federal and state laws. Employers may use seasonal status to justify limits, but the law still sets boundaries. For seasonal workers, the key is awareness. Track your hours, ask about contracts, and don't assume short-term means powerless. So, what protections do you have if you're a seasonal worker? Quite a lot. From the first day, you're covered by the F.L.S.A. for minimum wage and overtime. O.S.H.A. requires safe workplaces. Title VII, the ADA, and the ADEA protect against discrimination. The NLRA gives you the right to organize. Where seasonal work differs is in benefits and job security. Health insurance, retirement, and FMLA leave often require longer service. Unemployment eligibility varies by state. The bottom line: seasonal work does not erase your rights. It just limits certain benefits tied to long-term employment. If this video clarified your rights, share it with coworkers. Short-term jobs are still real jobs, and knowing your protections helps make every season safer and fairer.